How long does it take you to string a tennis racket on a tabletop drop weight stringer? Let's find out. Today we're using Otoro's Snap TF 125 millimeters in blue on this blade 98 16 by 19. So stringing tip, when you are cutting out strings, cut across and a main at the same time, right in the center of the racket. That way it breaks the tension equally. And then you can just cut right through. All right. I basically like to fray all of the strings like this, so I can easily pull them out like 4 at a time. I should have brought a trash bag. All right. Strings on the bed, fuck it. Tourline does have an O-snap that pairs a softer spin-loaded mainstring with this stiffer ultra slick cross that is Otoro Snap TF. But I break strings pretty often, so I'm just using the Otoro Snap TF on both the cross and the main. Now this drop weight stringer, it's the Gamma Profession 2. These are actually a lot more efficient than you think. I got this one off Facebook Marketplace for about 200 bucks. It saved me about $5,000 in stringing over the last 5 years. And it's pretty simple. I can take this literally anywhere. I can string it outside if I wanted. All you need is a tabletop and just a little bit of space. All right, now we got that guy locked in. We're stringing it at 50 pounds. So the way that the drop weight works, it's exactly as you think. The weight is going to drop this lever down and it's pulling at 50 pounds along the scale. I actually think this is more accurate than a lot of crank or even electrical stringers because those need to be recalibrated. This, there's nothing to recalibrate. This is 50 pounds. If I line it up on the scale, every time it's 50 pounds. So a lot of speculation around the accuracy of these types of stringers. It's actually more accurate. I don't start the timer until I have the string ready, the racket in place, and I watched a lot of stringing competitions on Tennis Channel growing up. I think that's the way they do it. I might have to go back and check. Go. It's always a bad start. It's always a bad start. One of these days I'm gonna get a smooth one, I swear. Now since we're stringing 2 halves, it's not like a full set of string, I can actually just pull this even here as opposed to measuring out 9 lengths per side, which is what you typically do. And what I mean by that is when I'm doing a half of the mains, it is basically 9 head lengths across. That's how you should measure it. So 1, 2, 3, you do 9. Okay. So the goal with this drop weight is to try to get it to be basically horizontal. That's when you're going to hit the perfect tension that you set it to. Now, I talked about this in my last video, but you want to do a couple strings at a time on each side of the mains. The biggest mistake that people make is they'll do one side and then the other side. That actually can warp the racket. For some reason, there's a lot of controversy on that. I don't know why. It's kind of logical. I'm just hoping this table holds up. This thing is super shaky right now, and I've actually never strung on it before. So if this all comes crashing down mid-video, we'll be seeing that for the first time. Damn, that was the longest 2 minutes of my life. Yeah, this thing is really freaking precarious. I don't like it. Tourline's got really smooth string. That's one thing I've noticed. Consistently across the board, the strings are very smooth. And that actually makes it easier to string with. Both sides of the mains, doing a couple strings, making our way towards the end of the mains. Mains are fast. Mains are so much faster than the crosses because you don't have to weave. You don't want to pull all the way when you're tying a knot. It's sort of like a finesse feel type of thing here. Because if I pull 50 pounds, I might snap the knot. You kind of just eyeball it until it feels and looks tight, and then you're good to go. Always, always double knot. Rule of thumb. A lot of people like to take the pliers and they will wrap it around like this, and you'll pull the knot by hand. Either one works. You just don't want to go too aggressive because it'll snap. Main's done. We're not worrying about the string on the ground because we can do that later. Now, I did have somebody comment in the last video, you shouldn't start your crosses from the top and string down because that puts like tension on the racket and it'll start to crack. You need to start from the neck and string up. I've done it both ways. I think that is a big time myth. You can start from the top, you can start from the bottom. I see professional stringers do both ways. This is where you lose time. You get a freaking knot because your string is not cooperating. Okay, I'm gonna get this first one in place. Now we're gonna pause. I'm gonna show you close up again how I'm doing the cross. The way to do the cross strings, you always weave one string ahead of the string that you're pulling. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. Okay, so first things first, the weave itself. One hand on top, one hand on the bottom. Push up, push down, all right? You're always going the opposite of the previous one. If this one's over, this one starts under. You wanna be weaving one string ahead of the string that you're actually pulling. The best way to do this is you leave a loop here. Okay, you leave a loop. And we're gonna take this, because this is the string we're pulling. I also like to use 2 clamps because in case of emergency, if one slips, you have a backup. Weave this guy through. Okay, and the reason that we do this, this is where the tension is, all right? So it's naturally pulling the main strings either down or up based on how this weave is. Okay, and this weave, because we are one string ahead, is actually gonna match this one, right? This one's under, this one's over, this one's under, but because this one's pushing the main string up, it makes the weave easy. You're basically going under a main string that's already being pushed up from this tension, and you're going over a main string that's being pushed down from the tension here. So that's why you weave one string ahead. Now this is way too much explaining for the sake of a timed string job. So we're gonna pause and I'm gonna put you back up there and I'm gonna try to make up some time. I broke the cardinal rule of stringing. I wasn't stringing with the string in my mouth. This is so much more efficient because I don't have to find the string on the ground after I'm done pulling. It's always right here. Every good stringer does this, I swear. Don't come from in the comments. I'm gonna really try to lock in here. See if I can get into a little bit of a flow. For me, stringing is almost like therapeutic. A lot of tennis players don't like it. I love it. I would never have somebody else string my racket. Something about a clean weave into a pull, flawless clamp. Also, these scissors are just about to fall on my foot here. Get those out of the way. I wonder if Tennis Channel still does those like world stringing competitions. Because I used to sit in front of the TV and watch those as I was stringing rackets as a kid all the time. And I would start my time when they start theirs, see if I can keep up with them. Of course, I think those world records are like 9 minutes or something crazy. But they also weren't doing drop weight table stringers. I like to clip the end before I tie the knot because it's just too long if I'm going to be pulling this through and making a knot out of it. Okay, now we're going to clip that guy. Get on. Fuck, why'd I put these on so tight? $13.34. I think the last one was $3.12. I talk too much to you guys. I blame you. Sub 15. That's where I can sleep at night. Sub 15. All right, that's it. 13.5 minutes. O Toro. Snap TF. I gotta stop messing around. Next video, no talking. I'm just gonna crank it out in like 12 minutes. Promise.